Let's be honest about it. Depending on your point of view, modern day Star Trek is either a hit or a miss. With so many problems with the Star Trek Discovery, fans walking away from it, it's a wonder this series still survives. A lot of people love Lower Decks, and it does have some pretty good episodes in it, even though it can be a little ridiculous at times. And let's be honest about this one. Picard Season 3 definitely was the only saving grace of that series. Season 1 and 2, no one really cared about it, and it felt more like we were watching the senior citizen years of a man who no longer resembled anything like the Picard we all came to know and love. Okay, so we all know that Star Trek has taken us to strange new worlds, and we have boldly gone with them where none has gone before. But is it possible that Star Trek is about to get yanked into the multiverse?
Emergency impulse power. We can't break loose. We need more power. We haven't got it. We're being pulled inside.
So it seems that J.J. Abrams is planning a new Star Trek prequel. You remember J.J., don't you? You know, the man who killed Han Solo and decimated the entire race of Vulcans and their homeworld. And of course, killed Captain Kirk's father. J.J. has anger issues, people. Well, if you enjoyed all that, then you definitely are going to look forward to this Star Trek prequel movie from J.J. Abrams in the works. Star Trek is getting a new prequel movie produced by J.J. Abrams. Wow, we have another prequel coming our way. They haven't even worked on Star Trek 4. Ever since Star Trek Beyond came out, they have been shoving Star Trek 4 down our throats. It's coming, it's not coming, it's coming. We don't have the money, we have the money. Even in this article here, they will tell you that J.J. Abrams is still working on Star Trek 4 and that the original crew is going to be there. But listen to this part right here. The film company Bad Robot, is producing an original story set decades before 2009's Star Trek, which rebooted the franchise for the big screen in an alternate continuity. Problem right there with that paragraph right there. Decades before. Now, I saw an article a couple of days ago talking about how it was going to be in the Kelvin timeline. How's it going to be in the Kelvin timeline when it's decades in the past? I mean, Kirk was born, and then 21 years later, he's in the academy, okay? So now we're saying decades. What does that mean? 20 years? 30 years? Well, we can't go into 30 years, because if we go into the 30-year mark, it's no longer the Kelvin timeline. The timeline deviates into this tangent, quoting Doc Brown, after Nero's ship appears in front of the Kelvin. That is when this thing all goes south. So whatever this movie is, it's gonna have to be right after the Kelvin timeline. Otherwise, it technically goes back to the regular timeline, and this whole thing gets crazy. And I want to also talk about continuity. You want to talk about continuity? Paramount is all over the place. Again, they are greenlighting a Star Trek 4, at least that's what J.J. Abrams claims, and he's claimed this before. And we also have stories of a prequel to the prequel, as I just read. Now we've got Patrick Stewart out here claiming that he's got the script in hand for a new Star Trek Picard movie, even though at the end of Star Trek Picard Season 3, we were told that that was going to be the last generation. They did a nice farewell to it, but Patrick Stewart is pushing for a new movie. You see, there's contradictions to this article right here. I think we could do a movie, a Picard-based movie, he said. Not necessarily at all about Picard, but about all of us, meaning the Next Generation crew, and take many of those wonderful elements, particularly from Season 3 of Picard, and take out what we think can be an extraordinary movie. I keep telling people and mentioning it, and so far there has been no eager response, but it might happen, and that would be, I think, a very appreciative way to say a goodbye to all of us, a goodbye to our fans. You already said goodbye, number one. Number two, you're telling people you have a script in hand, but this article says that he has heard about the script. So there's a lot of talk going on all over the place about this. And then, of course, we've got Star Trek Section 31 that's coming out on Paramount Plus. And they're still pushing for Star Trek Academy, which is going to be based in the same year, I believe, the 30th century that Discovery is in. There's a lot of all over the place with the time. No consistency in the timeline. We've got an alternate universe, we've got the regular universe, and it is one multiverse or messyverse. Star Trek the Messyverse. This is what I'm going to start calling this because it's just all crazy. There's no consistency in anything that's going on, no decent information being released. So it just is a lot of rumors as far as I'm concerned when it comes to all of this. Whether or not there is a new Star Trek Picard movie doesn't bother me in the least. I am quite satisfied with the ending that they gave us in Season 3. The issue that I have goes back to J.J. Abrams. He started all this mess, and now he wants to continue it. I don't know if this is a good idea, but because there's no real information out there, we just have to wait and see. I am hoping, if it does happen, that in some ways it tries to repair some of the mess that has been done between Star Trek, the rebooted series, the Kelvin timeline, Strange New Worlds, Lower Decks. There is so much lack of continuity. Well, tell me what you think. I would love to hear your thoughts and comments on this one. Would you want to see a new J.J. Abrams Star Trek? Would you really? After all the train wrecks that he's caused, I believe he helped destroy Star Wars. He helped mess up Star Trek. Who knows what other damage the man's done? Drop your comments below and let me know. And until the next time, God bless.